Welcome to Up at Noon. Yes, not the regular show, no monologue, no crazy news. We're off at this IGN content conference, so we had to do something special, something quick, something interesting for you. And we thought, what game is big enough to deserve its own segment? And they were like, Guild Wars 2. The kids love the Guild Wars 2. So we're going to talk about Guild Wars 2. Here is Brian Altano. He's now lead writer on Up at Noon. Give him a round of applause. He wrote this transition. Why you put? I'm about to reveal you. You can't put your head in this shot. Shh, nobody sees you yet. Nobody knows who you are. You can't talk yet. You have no name. Here's what Brian wrote. We always try to look on the bright side here at Up at Noon. Speaking of bright side, Gregway, let's look on the white side, the Chris Whiteside. Give it the hell up for this week's guest, Chris Whiteside, wide shot. As I live and breathe, Chris Whiteside.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Pleased to meet you. We've met several times.
I know we have. Been trying to keep it fresh, you know.
Well, I know. You got to keep it fresh. For the audience at home, I want you to know, in the first time ever on Up at Noon, we already tried to film this once, and I totally forgot his name. And I've been hanging out with him literally all day. He sexted my girlfriend literally all... Anyways, Guild Wars 2.
It's not true, Sarah.
Well,
none of that's true.
Well, I mean, if you sex someone as that, like you were pretending to be me, you weren't saying it was you.
Okay, yeah.
And also, somebody has already said we look like brothers, so hold on.
Thanks for explaining it in more detail.
See if that...
That's good, I like it, right?
Does look good. Yeah. That is good, all right.
A little bit of Michael Caine?
Yeah.
No, maybe not.
All right. Whatever you do, don't tell Ziff Davis how little you'll do this show for. Guild Wars 2, it's been out since September.
Yep.
People still playing it, people still loving it. For the people who, my mom, she watches this show, never knows what the hell's going on. What is Guild Wars 2?
It's a massively multiplayer game.
Oh, these MMOs I hear so much.
Yep, it's an MMO. Well, we prefer to call it like an online world, and that's what we're really building towards. But yep, it's a massively multiplayer online world set in Tyria with loads of new innovative gameplay, and yeah, that's about it.
All right, Mom's sold.
I'm sure there'll be more questions.
That was it. Now back to sex. No. Here's what I dig about Guild Wars 2. You guys don't have the traditional MMO setup, right? There's no real like, go out and do this, 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 and find these people and collect these many hides. And it's like, no, you guys roam into, you go off on your own story. Maybe there's some hides to collect. I'm not going to say there's no hides. But you go off and then you run into other players doing the same thing. You're not doing the traditional grouping, right? Yeah,
it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to. You know, you don't have your handheld, but as soon as you kind of get through that barrier, it really is, you know, it makes the game much more immersive. It's really good in terms of social elements, and the fact that you can just, you know, go off in one direction and, you know, come across something that you've never seen before, and again, you know, it's very dynamic, and you know, it's pretty much the core of our game.
Why go that way? Why not just make? I mean, you know, why not just go the traditional MMO route?
So that's a great question.
Thanks.
Thanks. you should keep the job, right? You know?
That's what I keep telling people.
So why go this way? Well, you know, there's lots of different kind of core mechanics and key areas of the game that we really wanted, you know, to get polished for launch, and basically that we look at it as a platform that we're going to continue to evolve. And so the idea of having, you know, dynamic events and very action-oriented dynamic gameplay is something that, you know, if you think of the analogy of, you know, your favorite TV series, and every so often you get a film from that TV series, this year we want to do something really revolutionary where we are constantly upgrading, evolving the world, not just based on where we think it should go, but also the community. So, you know, that's not just hot air. You know, if you think about what that actually means, you know, I don't think anyone's ever done that before. You know, we're literally talking about a world that is going to grow with the players on a very swift cadence, I think would be a good way of putting it.
Here's my next question. How the f is that possible? Like that doesn't make any you're evolving the world as it goes. And you said it's not hot air. You've been out since September. You've been doing this.
Yes.
There are blades that shoot out rainbows and unicorns. Like one person plays the game and knows that's real. His name is Ryan Clements. He works for IGN.com.
So first of all, we've got, you know, a really amazing team that cares a lot about the game, and everyone plays the game, and they all have their favorite things and so on. And so, you know, we want to keep building on what we already have there. And then if you look at, you know, the additions, we've done 5 massive updates since launch. You know, we've got a big guild content update coming. World v World, you know, will be coming soon as well. And, you know, the actual direct answer to your question is we have a number of teams that are set goals. We have a specific structure that allows them to be very agile in terms of how they go about doing things. We're very reactive. And so, yeah, like I said, it's not hot air. In order to be able to pull off what we're going to do, we had to restructure the way we work. And yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting.
Now, the next thing people don't know about it, free to play the Guild Wars 2.
Well, it's buy to play.
No, free to play.
No. No. Okay, it's free to play.
Yeah! No, it's not free to play, but you have, talk about your model.
So, our business model...
I was trying to trip him up. Don't laugh that hard. Right?
Yeah, trip me up. That's great. I always love coming to IGN.
Thanks for coming up at noon, sandbagging you, trying to screw you over.
Buy to play, we wanted to basically make a business model which kind of created a forcing function for us in that if we're not doing a good job and we're not listening to the community and that kind of thing, then, we're not going to be as successful as we would be if there were other types of monetization systems in there that kind of keep people playing again and again. Also, arguably, and no doubt I'll get misquoted on this or something, but there's, in my opinion, there's less of a barrier to entry with, buy to play. And so, we've constantly got to be on our feet. We've constantly got to be playing with the players, finding out how, what they're enjoying, what they aren't enjoying. It's a great situation to be in because, it's a forcing function to make sure that we keep doing well. And obviously we have the microtransaction store, the Black Lion Trading Post, which is, has lots of cool things in there, like the Quaggan backpack, and our community supports us really well, and it certainly comes across that they're supporting us through that. And so, it's a win-win situation for everyone, I think.
What has adoption and play rate been like? I mean, obviously you're a big deal at launch.
Yeah.
Have you seen that continue, grow?
Well, I believe I'm correct in saying this, so you may have to cut this, but I believe that we are the, we'll have to check, right? But I believe that we are the fastest selling MMO in the West, full stop. So,
right behind you, DC Universe?
I play DC Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Brothers!
Yeah, brothers. We've sold 3 million units. It's very humbling. It's a great situation to be in. It constantly causes challenges for us, but in terms of, how many players we've got and that kind of thing, we have had obviously a very large amount, and we are continuing to grow. And the plan that we have for this year is just gonna build on that.
Talk a little bit about this year. You talked, doing more guild stuff.
Yep.
World versus world.
Yep.
Which is basically it's server versus server, right?
It's well, it's 3 worlds versus each other.
Okay.
Then,
In like what, Quidditch? What are we doing?
Yeah, it's just it's 3 chessboards. Don't know how that works.
No, I don't know.
I don't know why I'm a designer. Anyways, so what did you want again? What was the question?
What's coming this year? What if you can get a little bit of the nitty gritty for some of these kids? What do you want to tell them?
Well,
sell it right now. Greg Atlas over there in the crowd. He wants to know why he goes home right now and buys this free-to-play, buy-to-play game.
Well, the biggest thing about the game is obviously that we're evolving the world, and it's great to be in a position where we can course correct and be agile when we need to be. We have a grand plan. We have a really good idea of the features we're going to implement, but we are absolutely adamant that we won't release content unless it's of the highest quality. So. That said, I'm trying to kind of like dodge your question, if you haven't noticed.
I'm used to it.
The big thing for us is, like I said, I guess the big thing for people to be excited about is to watch an online world actually develop in real time with the community and everything that brings. But more of a straight answer is everything that, our core mechanics like, dynamic events, all the cool stuff in the game, we're going to build on that and take it to places where people won't have thought that we could have taken it to, and continue on that route, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Anything you can say whatever you want with that accent. People are like, that's just how he says it over there. I think that's how they talk. All right. Usually I say, tweet at me at GameOverGreggy. I tell you who's on the show. Then you get some questions. Turns out Guild Wars got a lot of crazy fans. So we're gonna take. I have like 17 questions here from one person. His character name is Feeling Fabulous.
Good name. I like it.
On the server, I can't read my own handwriting. The
Hedinjiv Den Ravi.
No, I would never have gotten that right. And then in the guild, downed but not out. No one thought that was funny as I did. Thank you. He asked about 2013. I stole that question, acted like it was my own. Here comes one for everybody at home. I want to make sure we're serving the Guild Wars audience. Feeling Fabulous writes, Lost Shores was released on November 16th, 2012, which was the first time we saw a trial weekend for players to invite their friends to try out the game. Will we see this again in the future, or do you have newer ideas planned to entice new potential players like Greg Atlas? I added the Greg Atlas part. He didn't say that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not the business department, but the more people that get a taste of the world of Tyria, the better. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it'll be something we'll be thinking about doing moving forward.
All right, good. You dodged him like you dodged me. Fine.
Thanks. It's okay. I'm well trained in
Here
that
comes
regard.
you can't dodge this. Feeling Fabulous has you pinned down. Are there any plans to improve Ranger Pet and Necromancer Minion AI? Try to push that off on the businessman.
I'm not going to push it off on any department. What I'm going to say is, you know, we're always looking at the balance and the systems of our professions, and you know, we evolve it as necessary. There you go.
I'm not even going to disrespect Feeling Fabulous anymore.
But seriously, you know, there's been a lot of commentary. I mean, everyone has an idea of how they would like their class to be super powerful. I mean, my guild, I was talking with them a couple of nights ago, and the Warriors were saying they wanted to dual wield great swords, and you know, the Mesmers wanted, I don't know, everyone wanted something crazy, you know, short of a tactical battlefield nuke. But yeah, you know, we have a keen eye on all of the different professions, and we have seen a lot of questions in regard to Ranger Pets, and like everything else, we'll be looking into it.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming by. Guild Wars 2 out right now, constantly changing, dynamic world. Go get it. What do you say? Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to this camera. I'm going to that camera. Give me that camera. That's the one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for our special Guild Wars interview. Up at noon, up every Monday. It's a great little show. Again, over on IGN and youtube.com/IGN. Or if you still like youtube.com/start, that playlist is updated with the newest episodes. Again, really easy to find this content wherever it may be. Thank you to Chris Whiteside, who's still next to me, but no one can see him. Thanks for coming. Thanks to Brian Altano for writing my Greg way. Thank you, watching. Thank you, audience, for sitting through this. If you want to be in that audience, go.ign.com/up at noon for details. Whenever this goes live, Brian and I are in the comments for the first hour over on youtube.com/IGN answering your comments. So come post comments and see how many times I can say comments. Until then, I'll see you on Monday. I'm going back to bed.